What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Commodity. My name is Fez, and today we are taking a look at rent crisis. Why is renting so bad in the UK? God, that sounds terrible, actually. Here in the US, buying is kind of getting hard with interest rates getting so high. Renting is becoming the big option for most people. I mean, I rent and I pay an arm and a leg, to be fair. I pay for what it is. I pay roughly $2,000 US for a 1,300 square foot apartment near a lake and stuff. I mean, from my apartment, I can see a building, but my personal apartment. And then if I go up to the rooftop, if you want me to do a apartment tour, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to show y'all my apartment, and I can even take y'all up to the rooftop and show you kind of like the view and stuff like that. It's only 4 stories tall, but we have 2 stories of parking garage, and then it's on the top of a hill, so you get a little bit of a view. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. But I guess we're gonna take a look at the UK. If you're new here, please subscribe. It'll help me out a ton. Like and comment. And if you have any suggestions for more UK videos or really British Isle videos, link to my Discord is down in the comments. I'm just kind of getting over my last video I just filmed. Check it out. It came out yesterday. If you want to see me cry like a baby. Yeah. For no reason, really. It's not even like a sad video. It just hit me in the right place. It hit the right chords. So let's jump into this and let's see what's going on with the UK renting situation. Yeah, let's take a look.
If you're a renter, you may have noticed that right now it feels harder than ever to find a home.
Ruined my entire year, if not my entire life.
Bidding wars, damp, mold, personality contests,
Like X Factor.
evictions for no reason, and skyrocketing rent.
Entirely unfair and completely unmanageable.
Basically like the Wild West.
So what's going on in the UK right now? And is
The
it
Wild
really
West.
the worst time ever to be a renter?
This is quite something.
Oh,
This is Ang Harrod. She recently moved into this house in South London.
You're washing your hair, the mouldy water will just start dropping on your head. I'm 27, I've got a good job, I'm looking for something a bit less uni house. I was going through a breakup
when she says uni house, does she mean like it feels more like a university dorm room type situation? Let me know down in the comments.
and had to get out of a less uni house. I was going through a breakup and had to get out of the house ASAP.
Ang Harrod
Yeah.
was back on the market, not just for love, but for a room in a share house.
It was like dating. You were trying to look your best, but this time was hell. Was absolute hell.
How many places do you think you inquired about?
Got to be close to 100. Like 80% of them went unanswered.
Holy crap.
If I took 5 more minutes to write that message, 50 more people would have messaged. So it just wasn't a gamble I could take.
Did you ever expect to have this much trouble?
I don't think I was expecting the toll it would take to be constantly told no. It's probably the most anxious I've probably ever been. I wasn't sleeping. I was crying a lot, and I don't cry. That's like 2 days of water. There's just too much moisture
I
in
do.
here.
She found a place eventually, but there were compromises.
That chair's from the past tenant.
And is that mould up there?
It's mould, and I think they had a leak, but I largely took it because I had to. Yeah, it was my one and only option.
Right now, it's not
I'm pretty sure in the United States there's laws, especially with mold. There are definite laws with mold. If your place has mold, it has to be removed by law. And there are very specific ways to remove it. I'm amazed that as progressive as the UK is, that is not regulated. And living situation isn't kind of regulated. Because that was rough. I mean, that is rough.
unusual for renters to feel desperate.
I wanna know
put a
what she
call out
pays.
online asking people what it's currently like to find a home.
It is a pretty wild time out there right now.
Absolutely shocking.
It's the worst I've ever seen it.
For the millions of people who rent privately in the UK, most will use an online property site to find somewhere to live.
I checked for apartment,
Hoping that something's been added since the last time it hit refresh.
We would ring the estate agent and it's gone.
And even if you do manage to get a viewing,
There were 90 people looking.
A
belt of people.
30 plus people outside queuing.
My viewing has been cancelled.
Let's just say you decide you want to live there.
We had to go £250 over.
The letting agent asked me to pay the full 12 months up front.
Finding somewhere to rent is
What?
an ordeal, made worse by soaring
Okay. What? Full 12 months up front? Okay, so get this. When I got this apartment, I think I was in between jobs. And thankfully, I mean, I'm a real good salesperson. I'm a personality. I know how to communicate. That's just one of my skill sets. I mean, everybody's got a skill set. Trying to sell over the phone is not my skill set. So it's really funny because that's kind of where the market's turned into. But anyways, when I came to rent this apartment, because I was moving out of my Miles, because he got full custody of his daughter. So I had to start finding my own apartment, found this place. And unfortunately, I didn't have the proof of income. But they were like, if you have, I forget what they call it. It wasn't a cosigner, but it was somebody that could back me financially. But they had, here's what was crazy. And thankfully, my dad had sold some investments and all this kind of stuff. And he makes good money. I mean, he's a PhD and all that good stuff. And he's very hardworking. And I mean, guy's 68 years old or 69, and he still works his ass off. But he had the person that was signing for me had to make 10 times my rent per month to sign for me. And so basically that's $20,000 a month for me to rent an apartment. I was like, I don't think at my dad's age now makes 20 grand a month, but from his retirement, and I don't know, he's not even pulling retirement, Social Security. He works 2 jobs, basically 2 part-time jobs that, I mean, like I said, he works so hard that they were like, we don't want to lose you. We'll pay you full-time salary with all the benefits, and you only have to be here, I think they said 20 hours a week or something like that. And I was like, how do I get to that level? And he was like, go get your PhD, then we can talk. And I was like, all right, fair enough. I'm not going to be there. But he did teach me to work hard to get to that level. Now people actually call me for a job, wanting me to work for them. So it's kind of cool. But I thought that was crazy. And to be fair, that is crazy. 20% or 10 times what the rent is, and this is almost exactly $2,000 a month rent. That's $20,000 a month. Who's renting an apartment for making 20 grand a month? Nobody is. Not in the United States. And having to pay an entire year up front, that is stupid. That is stupid. That should be against the law.
demand. And as the number of available places shrinks, rent is going up across the UK at the fastest rate on record. Almost 3.5 million people in England have had their rent raised in the last year alone by an average of £115 a month. And according to one property site, a single renter spends more than a third of their income on rent.
The renters united will never be defeated.
Renting is never easy, but something feels different at the moment.
Some renters are so stressed by the rental market that they're joining protests outside different estate agents in London and Manchester.
Let's go talk to the people with the mattress. I want to find out what that's all about.
How do people who can't afford their rent anymore sleep? They have to rough sleep. That's why we have cardboard, mattresses, the kind of stuff that people have to sleep on once they can't afford the rent anymore.
Are we giving up? No! Are we giving up? No!
Of all the reasons protesters gave for why they're angry about renting right now, one stood out in particular.
We've had 2 rent hikes this year. The landlord says he's just keeping up with the general rent increases in the area.
To stop greedy landlords, as the protesters here see it, and protect people from the cost of living crisis, they're calling for an emergency rent freeze, like the one recently introduced in Scotland.
To wake up one morning and put my rent up by £200-300 a month, I have nothing that I can do about that. That needs to change.
What do you say to those who would argue that, this is just the market? When there's
That's not fair.
more
Not
demand, prices go up.
Yeah, well, what do you do when there's a market failure? The market has failed.
So they're calling for a rent freeze. But that's just one solution to such a myriad of problems that we've been hearing about. So I can't help but think, where does it actually leave renters? I asked Peter Kemp, who's been researching housing policy for decades. Is it just greedy landlords pushing up prices?
It's nothing to do with greediness. It's what we live in a private enterprise, capitalist economy. The key underlying problem is a chronic undersupply of new build housing in Britain. We've got rising demand. When COVID hit, quite a lot of people left the city centres and now rents are rising when they've returned. And then there's general household growth. The population's growing. So it's like a perfect storm.
Many campaigners are calling for a rent freeze. Is that a solution to these problems?
A seductive idea,
It's a
but actually
short term.
it's misguided. Supply will go down even further. Existing landlords will get out. New landlords won't come in. So you have to find a solution that's a bit of a compromise that enables landlords to make a reasonable profit, but not an excessive one.
The National Landlords Association blamed the supply and demand issues on government tax policy.
The government has repeatedly promised to make private renting fairer and says it will introduce a renters reform bill in this parliament. But that could take years. So what does it mean for people who need a home right now?
I was not expecting to be in this position at the age of 34.
Earlier this year, Jess left her job and her life in Cambridge, ready for a new chapter studying a master's degree in Manchester.
It was meant to be an exciting new step.
She was looking for a place with two of her best friends.
We started looking for houses to rent.
Okay, so they can raise your rent in the middle. So do y'all not sign contracts? So I have a contract, it's probably 50 pages long, saying things that you can and can't do, and things like parking and how that's regulated. And then, of course, your rent is included there. And so for that 1 year, 1.5 years, or 6 months, however long your lease is, they can't affect your rent. But usually after that year is up, 6 months, whatever it is, they will raise your rent because just simple, either the current economy, the current rental, like lack of apartments right now. Because when I rented this apartment, it was like always at 100% full. So I literally had to rush in. They were still painting the day I moved in. So I got to enjoy getting a high. In fact, I can still see where they kind of did it very poorly done. Typically, you know, most apartments have like vacancies and then you can just kind of come in and take it. And then in certain states, they have what is called rent control. So while you're there, as long as you're renting whatever rate you were given when you signed the contract, you can keep on signing yearly, and they can't raise the rent. Like it's famous in like New York where it was several years ago, a lady finally passed away, but she was renting the same apartment for like 70 years. And her rent was literally like $80 to $100 a month for 70 years in the most expensive, or one of the most expensive parts of the country on Manhattan Island in the city center of New York. And her rent was literally not changed. And I was like, that's genius. Why don't we do that? Because I come in, I feel like $2,000's a lot, and I'm going to start, and I can get rent a house for less than $2,000. I got a friend that's renting a brand new build, or within 3 years build, and he's paying $2,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,600 square foot home, and I'm paying that for a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom, 1,300 square foot apartment. And I'm starting my new job, so I'm probably going to sign a 6-month contract here, and then once that's up, hopefully I can get a house where I have a garage because I'm buying a Tesla and I need a place to charge, or where I want to be able to charge without having to go to a charging station. But yeah, they can't just come in and be like, yeah, so the housing market has imploded and everybody's starting to rent, so we're raising your rent next month. Technically next month they could because my lease ends in January. So, but I'm hoping it's only going to go up maybe $100 or something like that, maybe less. So that's just crazy to hear that they're just like, hey, yeah, so your rent's going up 300 pounds halfway through your rent, like the term or whatever. But if y'all aren't signing contracts, then I hate to say it, that's kind of putting y'all in the position of getting screwed over. There needs to be contracts signed. So I'm assuming there's contracts, but I guess that like even we have some kind of control within those contracts. So I don't know.
They were just finding it nigh on impossible.
Where did that leave you?
Well, it left me here. I'm living at my dad's house in Wolverhampton. Never thought that I'd have to live here again.
It was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? Because I thought she'd be coming for a bit.
And it was meant to be 2 weeks and it's turned into 3 months.
Yeah. You just feel like this is wrong, I shouldn't be here. I'm an adult now.
Like a lot of people, Jess has turned to house share websites too, but the whole experience has left her exhausted.
A furnished room in a house, 2,600.
The picture she just, on that picture, there's markers. I have those exact same markers.
£117 per month. That is
Oh, hold on.
1,600.
Experience has left her exhausted.
A furnished room in a house, £2,617.
What the fuck? You better be in like, I mean, that's got to be in like, that needs to be in Buckingham Palace. That's insane. I mean, there are parts of the country that could make sense. No, there's no part of the country that could make sense. I think a 1-bedroom you could get that in New York City for less than that. You could get that in San Francisco, which I think is the most expensive place to live in the country, or LA for that matter. Or even Austin and Nashville are getting to that point, but still, that's insane.
Furnished room in a house, £2,617 per month. That is insane.
What about the messages you've sent out?
Absolutely no replies at all. Nothing. I almost made my peace with the fact that I could never buy a house. But now you can't even move to a new town. That makes me feel so trapped. That's so scary. I just feel like I'm not making the most of life.
Renters can keep hoping for government action or that the market cools down. But until then, they'll have to deal with this perfect storm in renting and maybe settle for poor conditions, grueling house hunts, or sticking it out at home with mum and dad.
When was this uploaded? "40 minutes ago." Oh, that's funny. The first comment. As a Canadian visiting family last year, to be fair, the Canadian dollar is kind of struggling right now. Obviously, the pound has always been higher than as long as I've been alive, or as long as I've been an adult and traveling and stuff. The pound has always been higher than the U.S. dollar. Currently, let's see here. Hey, Google, USD to British pound. That's actually gotten a lot better. When I was there, it was almost, holy cow, it's gotten a lot better. $1 Wait. Yeah, no, it was almost £2. No, it was almost $2 to £1. It was terrible because I went to Spain and the euro was already worth more than the dollar, and I had already transferred a bunch of money because I was there for 3 months. And then my uncle was like, or my cousin, or whatever you want to call him, he's technically not family, he's friend, was like, "Hey, we're going to London. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome." And when I got to England, and I was going through what is it called, where they ask you all the questions and stuff, they were like, "How much money do you have on your person?" And I was like, 300 euros. And they were like, "What are you going to do with 300 euros?" Because when I went and had that money transferred to pounds, it got even smaller because I started with more. I think at the time it was about $1.50. No, it was less than that. It was like $1.30 to every euro. So it already sucked. And then I go to England, and it was even worse than that. So I literally was losing money all the way through, and it blew my mind. And then, man, just hearing this is a brand new video. I almost feel bad for reacting to it, and I don't even know if it's going to stay up because it is by Channel 4 News, and news don't like you using their personal stuff. So we'll see how long it stays up. But yeah, that is shocking, and that is theft. And usually the reason that our stuff goes up is mostly for tax purposes, because they have to, the landowners have to pay taxes to the state, and as things go up in value, their taxes go up. And with their taxes go up, that means our rent goes up. And even if taxes don't go up, they still raise our rent, but it's usually not astronomical, even if the market has shifted. So my last apartment with Miles, we were paying, it was so cheap. It was so cheap, and it was so nice. We were paying roughly $2,100 or $2,200 a month for a 4-bedroom. I want to say like 2,100 square foot. It was huge, a huge apartment. 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom. Every bathroom had a big bathtub, had a shower. I mean, it was nice. Most of them had dual vanities. I mean, it was set up very nice. It was a huge apartment, big giant living room, gigantic balcony on the 4th floor, and we were paying $2,200 a month. And when I was thinking about moving into my own place, I was like, that's a lot of space. I could have rooms for my kids, have a studio, have my own bedroom, and be just fine. And I looked at the rent prices, and they were like $4,000. But our rent only went up $100, and that's why he still lives there. So it was just mind-boggling how drastic it went up. But here, I'll even pull this up. Let me switch this. Let me pull this up. Rent apartment.com. There we go. So this would be just for our local area. So let's see here. Dallas, Texas. Let's look up so city center of Dallas, Texas. Let's look at Uptown. Just to put it in perspective, this is a very expensive part of town to live in, but here's Uptown right here. So let's say, where's my old apartment? I used to live in Uptown. It was off of, this is too far up, North Hall Street and McKinney Avenue. So I used to live here. Oh, they changed the name. It's called Whitney Uptown now. It used to be the Uptown Towers. So let's just see, 2-bedroom apartment, just for perspective from what I live in now. And I'm paying, and I live nowhere near Uptown. Like, food is everywhere in Uptown. Holy crap. Okay, that's expensive. That's what we had. We had a 2-bedroom. Let's see if this looked like it. This is different than what our bedroom looked like. Our apartment looked like. But either way, that's really expensive. 2 bedrooms up to $2,600, $3,000, $6,000. Okay. What the fuck? Why is this so expensive? Okay, our rent's gotten way more expensive. We were paying I want to say $2,800 combined for a 2-bedroom on the 21st floor in a high rise looking at downtown Dallas. And now these are 2 bedrooms for, this is $2,400. That's $2,000. But I guess if specific apartments come available, they get that expensive, but that would be stupid to rent that. These aren't too terrible, I guess. $3,000. But yeah, no, nothing like what's going on over there. So I am so sorry that y'all are going through that. That is shitty, and something needs to change literally right now. Otherwise, you're going to be in a bad situation very fast. Very, very fast. Or you're going to live in a place that's extremely dangerous, or and you're probably going to pay too much money to live there. So, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Good luck to you guys, you renters and even house buyers, because that's my goal within the next like 4 or 5 years is to buy myself a house. But that takes a lot of work because I don't have like a VA loan where you don't have to put any money down. I'll have to put 20% down. So the cost of houses are skyrocketing in my region too. So, but guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, bell notification, all that good stuff. If you have suggestions for any more videos from your country, link to our Discord, and there is a suggestion section there. Hit that, and I'd love to take a look at it more. And with that being said, peace out, guys.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. To the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. The air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. So let us dance this night away.